Back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, RFK Refugees podcast. Ted here, John here. We have another special guest for you guys. Joining on the call is Felipe Martins. Felipe, how you doing?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to talk to you guys a little bit.
Absolutely, it's certainly a pleasure to have you. I guess let's talk, man. That was a crazy game. I don't think I've seen a weirder game in DC. So I mean, how did first of all, I want to talk about the assist. You had an absolutely unbelievable pass to Federico Higuain.
50th assist too. So big milestone assist too.
Yeah,
Yes.
50th assist. How did that play come about? And like, did you just see him and do you kind of your eyes just like light up and just nail that pass, or like walk us through that play?
There's a couple points to point there. I think, first of all, Russell recovered a very nice ball. He left the ball perfect for me in order to play a first pass forward. And me and Higuain, we've been very close. We've been talking a lot, and he knows that I always try to, if I can, play forward for the first pass. And I saw him before I got the ball from Russell, and I was able to play him forward. And I think the goal was much better than the pass. So let's leave at that.
They're both good. You've been so we asked for some questions ahead of time, and I had a feeling I knew what we were going to get. And the general consensus is that you have turned a lot of people's heads around in not a lot amount of time. You've been a maximum effort, maximum heart player for this team since you've gotten here. Winning over most all of everybody. That I remember when you signed, it was a noisy day on Twitter, and it was a noisy day in the supporters groups, who may have remembered you from other places you played. How is it that you're able to connect so quickly and so deeply with supporters' mentality? Like, I think you get it. Like, I think you can tell by the way that you play and the way that you interact with fans during the game and on social media that you get it. And how important is that connection between the players and the supporters to how the relationship goes and how the players play?
Yeah. So first day in my first interview, I said, I know that I'm not lost right now. I know there's a lot of going on in your minds, for everything in the past, and and the only thing I can promise you guys that I'm gonna give everything every single day, and in game by game, time by time, you guys gonna recognize that. When I am playing for a team, I give my everything, and this has been special for me, because I really relate the way I play, the way I am, the way I feel, and the story behind this United, I think relate to me, the way I am, the way I live, and I truly embrace the culture of this club, everything on from the fans, how passionate everyone is, and I promised myself, that that's not what I wanted from the fans. I love to the fans that love the way I play, but they need to recognize I need to gain their trust, and that's what I'm trying to do every single game. Go out there, represent this color and represent this team the best way possible. And in the end of the day, if you guys got to understand, the passion I have for this club, and everything I give every single day, I'm gonna gain your trust. That's what I'm trying to do every single day, and that's what I do every training for my teammates and for this team.
Well, it comes across authentically. So I am among the people who had my head turned. So great job there. Charm Offensive has been successful.
Thank you so much.
So results aside today, we're all happy for the point. Maybe all of you deep inside knew at halftime, we're definitely coming back and taking the point. Twitter and certain fans did not feel that way. I can say that for sure. I was folding clothes during some part of the second half. Much of today, sort of, at least in the first half, and the flow of passing and the buildup of attack from the back especially seemed really disjointed. What do you attribute that to? Is it rust? Is it the competition? Is it the heat? I'm sure it's all of those things. But like, what first and foremost do you really attribute that struggle to get started and play the way you want to play?
Okay, so I think especially coming back in a situation like that after many months without playing on the field, being on the field, and in this situation where the game was canceled, postponed for 2 times, And yesterday we been to the field, getting, change a lot of dynamics. And you guys might think that it's easy, but I can really say that that's not. And yeah, I think the conditions, playing in a different time, everything. But I don't like to give excuses. We weren't good enough the first half, and we talked. The coaching staff gave their points, and second half we came back and we were playing with 10 men, but was never a doubt that our team gonna go goal by goal, and we were able to push the game and get the 1 point that I think is really important for us.
What's sort of been the message from Ben, sort of trying to play this sort of deliberate passing style is a little different than I think a lot of that the team has played sort of in the past. As Ben sort of said, we're going to kind of use this tournament as sort of a building block, or, obviously you're not going to say, oh no, we don't care if we win. We want to win. But I mean, is it sort of been like, yeah, we're going to try our best to win, but really we want to sort of leave this tournament with a better understanding of who we are, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
No, I think, first of all, we've been working on this formation the way we want to play since January, since the preseason. Since day one in January, they were very clear the way we wanted to play. The players we brought is defined the way we want to play. And it's still a build-up, because you're still constructing a new style of play. You're still building something new with new players, and we weren't able to do that for 3 months. And now we come back and we try to do that. But Ben was clear even about this tournament. We're not coming here for a vacation. We're not coming here to just play the tournament. We're coming here to win. And he's all about win. He's a winner. He's a competitor, and this is a perfect setup to do what he wants to do. And I think the team embraced that. The team know that, and like the fight we showed in the second half today. It's a clear vision that what we want to do in this tournament.
We asked this to Bill, and we'll ask it to you too. I think that we told him that because the fact that there's no fans, you can hear everything that's said on the field, and it's great. They had to dump the audio a bunch because I'm assuming lots of swears happened that did not ESPN did not want to have on network TV or cable TV. But at the end of the game, there was a lot of emotion that happened, and I think that we asked Bill because he was in the middle of it. But you're an emotional guy too, and the way that you play before, I think you thrive on that. You're riding that emotion throughout the game. I think it's obvious to anybody that's watching. How good did it feel to get a point after that? You always want a point, you always want to win, but like, I think it got chippy. I think there was the game that got rescheduled twice. There was the stuff, they didn't come to the game. They didn't show up on time. So there was lots of stuff that happened. I'm trying to fish for animosity. It had to feel good to beat this particular team based on the playoffs last year, and then also just the way this game transpired.
I just think that shows how much us as a player care about this team. How much we always gonna fight for, first of all, the respect to win, and to all of that. I just that shows how much we care and how much means for us every time we wear these colors, this jersey. And I think that's a normal situation for me, because when you care about something, you fight for something, and you always gonna try to if people don't respect you, to make them respect you. And I think we did on the field, and things got a little bit out of control of the game, but I think that's normal. It's both teams that is very passionate. It's just things that happen in the field.
You gave a great quote earlier this week too that I wanted to bring up again. I think it was on Julian Gressel's video podcast, one of our competition, mm-hmm. one of our Steam competition, who also happens to play on the team and who we love a lot, about the food in the bubble, and about how some of the other players have complained either through an anonymous Twitter account or whatever else, just sort of that, maybe it wasn't up to snuff or what their standards were. And then you talked about that your childhood was a little bit different, and sometimes it wasn't enough to eat, and it's a different mindset. Do you think that maybe in a country like the United States, with the background that a lot of the American players come from, where it's a lot of money to play and travel, and people who usually make it this far don't come from that same background that you came from. Do you think that perspective is lacking across the league or just in this country?
Yeah, I think especially for football, for soccer to grow in this country, what miss is, you teaching the young guys how to have a mentality, the right mentality to deal with adversity. Because many guys grow up with a lot of fields around them, a lot of opportunities, a lot of the time you have your father, your mother around you. I can speak for myself that at 10 years old, I left my house. I was 22 hours bus from my house. And, like sometimes I wanted a chocolate, but I couldn't get a chocolate. Sometimes I wanted a hug from my mom and my father after I lose a game or I don't play. I didn't have them. So you just got to deal with those things, those adversities. And that built something that made who I am right now, that mentality. And you kind of build your own version inside you in order for you to compete against yourself every single day. And that made me the way I am. And that's the way I always gonna be, and I'm gonna teach my children's, because sometimes, have everything, it's good, but sometimes, bring I think, the wrong perspective inside you. Imagine if the players come, like, as I said to friends around the team as well, I said, imagine like a lot of guys in this league that if they don't have a job tomorrow, they just say, okay, I'm gonna work on Wall Street, I'm gonna go to do this, and I'm gonna go get a job. For me, it was never a second option. Or I become a professional soccer player, or I don't know what I'm gonna do. So everyone in this country, I believe, has a second opportunity. Yes, I think just every player needs to some adversity to build their own personality. And I think sometimes adversity is good because make you remind yourself that, like how much you gotta work for certain things. And most of the guys in this country has a second option if soccer or football doesn't go well. And that's sometimes that fire, that willing to win no matter what, it's what miss sometimes in a lot of teams and a lot of players around this league, what I see.
Yeah, that is definitely true. If you happen to look at LinkedIn pages of a lot of former players at MLS, a lot of them, like you say, are like working for Morgan Stanley. There's a lot of players that triple their salary after they decide it's not going to work out. And in some ways, that's great, right? But in other ways, it definitely does go to mentality. It definitely does go to how much you're willing to risk and how hard you're willing to grind, because you know that this is it.
You
This is
always have a second option.
right. Right. That's a great point. We told this to Bill, and I want to make sure we share it with you as well, so you can hear it. And that the one thing we got, aside from telling everyone telling us how much they love you now compared to how much they didn't, they all wanted to say they wanted you guys to know that fans are aware of how big of a sacrifice this is for the players and how you're taking a risk. And it's that you're there to win. You're there for us. And the fans really know and appreciate all that you guys are doing. So we just want to make sure that I know that the thank you cards are up in the hallway, but I want to make sure that our listeners got a chance to tell you that as well.
Yeah, I want to thank you all the fans for the message they send, and for all of you guys for always supporting us. And those kind of podcasts helps a lot us. It's one of way for us to come to bring back to you guys, to give back some of the love you guys always give to us. We always appreciate you, and I'm very happy and honored to be here with you guys. And I want to get the opportunity to thank all the fans as well for the support for all these years. And it's not always so easy, but we just got to promise that we always going to give everything, and hope we can bring a trophy for the DC United, because you guys deserve most of after a long time of not winning.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Reclaim our reign. I think that's the hashtag has been going on. So I like it. Felipe, thank you so much for joining us. Get a good night's sleep, rest up, and we'll look forward to watching you on Friday.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Felipe.
Bye.
Take care.